Welcome back. Huh? They really did. They didn't pop good last time. And I will say the Monster waters, they have a way better pop than the Liquid Deaths.
Yeah.
But you can't find that anymore unless you go to the gas station and pay $3 a can for it.
Canned water's already kind of hard for me to pay for, so I don't know, like $3 a can.
It pained me. I bought 2 today because literally Kurt was making fun of me last night. I like having beer on here, but the last probably 2 months, I think we've done it once because everyone's like water, and I'm like, canned water is more than beer. Like these people are bankrupting me. But luckily, Kurt's good at booking shows, so we have some reserves. And so I bought 2, one for this week and one for next week, because next week's definitely water.
Yeah.
We got a straight edge.
Oh.
So none of that.
None of it.
Could you imagine if you can't even have, like, because it looks like beer? You're like, that's not enough. I don't even want it to look like beer. So what's up with you? How are you?
Oh, man, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely.
How you been?
Let's see. Busy. I was looking for a better word, but busy.
Busy's good.
It's okay. It's okay. Busy because of work. Like, I have 2 jobs now, and it's just like work. Then we talking to Kurt. It's like, let's do this. And then I realized, shit, I really only have, like, Saturday in my life.
Like half of Saturday. Towards,
Maybe.
Like, if we can do Saturday, but I have to be done at 4. Like,
well, we were going to do 2 today, but I was like, I haven't grocery shopped in a month and a half. Like, I really need to do that. I needed some me time. It's weird that I have to schedule personal time to do my own errands.
grocery shopping by yourself is a bit underrated. I enjoy it quite a bit.
I'm still bitter that they won't open the back up 24 hours. The 3 a.m. grocery store.
It's just zen.
I don't care how tired I was. I would set an alarm and wake up and be like,
Wake up to go grocery shopping
oh, yeah.
at 3?
Love it.
No, that's next
Like,
level. Okay.
When I go to Sam's Club and it's like the off time, like 2 o'clock, the weird in between, like everybody's, but for some reason it's still just slam packed full of people. I'm like, why are all of you here? I tried to avoid this.
They all had the same idea.
And it's Christmas time, so like everyone's everywhere.
Yeah.
There's no store you can walk into where it's just like, oh, this is casual and nice. No, it's like fucking, oh, excuse me. Oh, okay, well, I'll turn around and go, okay. Let's go.
I've just become more and more anxious as I get older. So now, like, if it's me, my 10-year-old, and my girlfriend, her son, like, that's too many people to go grocery shopping with. And it's not like anybody, like, he's great, but it's just one of those things to where it's just like, I can't. There's too many moving pieces to go to try to turn down this aisle. And she's really good. Like, she always has a plan and a list and everything. And I'm more like jazz when I grocery shop, to where it's just like an improv session where it's just oh, here we go. What are we thinking?
I'm bad at it too.
Yeah, where it's like, hey, let's.
Did we buy any unfrozen goods? Like, oops. What was the grocery bill? $300. I might have bought 4 boxes of mozzarella sticks.
Yeah. We had a kid-free weekend, like, it just kind of happened out of nowhere, to where we had she had family in, and we went to the grocery store and bought nothing but like frozen food, where we're like, oh my goodness.
Imagine that's like your thing. You're like, oh, the kid's gone. What are we gonna do? You want to grocery shop? You want to stay in and put on a movie? Oh, it's the best.
So many documentaries that we haven't watched yet. Oh, let's watch all the boring stuff.
Yeah, the older you get, man, the more it's like, oh, they're having a thing over at Courtney's house. You're like, well, we just got the new bowl of ramen I want to try out.
We had a show that at Sticky's not too long ago, and it didn't start until 10:50. And I felt so bad asking people to come out to. I don't know how to ask someone my age to like come out to something that starts at 11.
The whole crowd just.
Yeah.
Before the show even starts, they're just drooling into obscurity. Like, oh my God, dude.
Please let this be over. Yeah.
Why does it do that? Your bodies are stupid.
Man, it's rough.
We're out here living longer than ever, and I get tired at fucking 9 o'clock now. How dumb is that?
It's awful. I used to like just go out and dance until like, and then I'd walk out and say, "Oh wow, that's the sun coming up. This is not great." Like, but
I gotta be
like,
at work in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Better grab a Monster and get on it. Which we didn't have any of that. That stuff's relatively new, really. All these energy drinks.
And yeah.
I'm bad addicted.
I can't take them. Like I have shaky hands just a little bit anyway. Like you give me like a true energy drink, and it's just like the whole day I'm just vibrating.
That's probably why I'm in a grocery store. Like I can't take this. Like I'm sweating. Then there's like 4 people in one aisle. I'm like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Why? Like, I was going to get this water, as a matter of fact, this morning, and going down an aisle, and now they have these they shop the people who can't seem to get out of their car and want somebody else to shop for them things. Those people are everywhere now, and they have giant wheeled carts with all these tubs.
Like the best, yeah, because they're getting like 5 people's things.
Exactly, which is fine, but it's like, why is there not like a second? Because one other person comes down that aisle, now it's a stalemate. Who's moving?
Yeah.
Find the cookies, Grandma. Get the fuck out of the way. You're standing there like,
It's so hard because grocery stores are lawless, and they only work if people all agree on a certain social contract of just like, look, you have to do this. Like, you cannot. You know what I
kind of liked during COVID was a good pull? The one-way mapping, where they made you like S through, and everyone had to follow the same path, so you were kind of just like a buffet line.
Yeah,
honestly, worked pretty damn decent.
Don't know why they left it.
You go through the whole shit, and then you come around and you come down and get the cheeses and the meats, and you bounce out of there. It was pretty solid.
You gotta like, okay, so I don't know, just the mere mention of cheeses. How's your cheese game?
Oh, how's my cheese game? You see these titties? What? How's my cheese game? Kurt, how's my cheese game? Deep. I just told you I made a cheese stick sandwich.
For sure.
I am pioneering a cheese stick sandwich at an eatery.
Cutting edge of cheese.
Do you eat cheeses other than cheddar?
Oh yeah.
And mozzarella.
Oh yeah, lots. Provolone's probably my favorite.
Provolone's got
Swiss is good if you have another one to stack on top of it. I'll tell you, sometimes I get real brave and do. Have you had like the extra sharp cheddar, like the brick, the Cracker Barrel brick?
Yes.
It's just, oh my god.
Block over shredded all the time. Like, we still have shredded cheese in the house.
Yeah,
but, like,
it's
the
quick.
Block is just like, because it doesn't have the little anticoagulants on it and stuff, so it's just so much
fresher,
meltier.
so much fresher. And the non-dyed cheddar, the white cheddar with the, oh my god. In the block form, get out of here.
I like the habanero jack, because like
that's
pepper
great
jack's
too.
good.
Yeah, the habanero jack.
I always wanted it to be hotter, and so habanero jack is like, that's my favorite.
Some Walmarts you go into, they have like a wall of cheese to choose from, and you're just like, we're gonna be here for a second because I don't even. Some of this stuff I've never even heard of.
Yeah,
and I love spice, so like pepper jack for sure, especially if you're doing sandwiches for lunches, like.
Yeah.
Or I'll get real, because, I'm like, how you bite it matters. So, like, cheese on bottom.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Because I want that first, and then the meats. And so sometimes I'll put bread, cheese, meat, cheese, bread. And that's, like, extra. I'm so fat.
Fry the cheese on the bottom of the bread.
Oh, my God, dude, are you kidding? Grilled cheese, turkey, fucking just pass out. Dude, yeah. No, I love cheese. I can't have enough. We buy the shredded in like the 5-pound bags just because it's like it's going on everything already.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is.
What are you having? Oh, it's something you need a little cheese on.
We're cooking spaghetti. We'll put some cheese on that. And not just Parmesan. Like, of course I'm going to do Parmesan, but
yeah.
Are you a sawdust parm guy, or are you a?
So I like all of it. Like, you can give me
too.
like the dried Parmesan, and it's still good. But like the fresh Parmesan is like
It's two
just
different,
so
two
salty.
completely
Yeah,
different
completely
things.
different
Yeah.
things, and that's just like a.
I think that's why I like both too.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I love the shaker. You
Yeah.
sit there, you got a movie on, you're like,
Right, like I'm not a cheese snob. Like it's like this cheese comes in a little shakeable bottle. It's like I'm sure that there's miles of application for this. This is gonna be great.
all cheese is created equal in my eyes, baby.
There's
It's
a
all gonna go
time
down
and
the
a place
hole.
for every cheese.
I'll experiment with weird things. Mac and cheese, put some sawdust on it. I don't care. Let's try. See
Yeah.
what it tastes like. It's got to be good.
Both.
What's
things
weird though,
individually so
growing
good,
up, didn't like cheese till I was like 15.
didn't like cheese. Like
I would throw it away. Like if I got a McDonald's and it had a cheese on the sandwich, garbage. Throw that out.
The way I used to eat hamburgers is so mind blowing. Where it's like, no, can you take out anything that has too much flavor? I can't handle that.
That's me now. You're just describing me now. I like cheese and meat, and people are like, "You're a 5-year-old." I'm like, "Yes," but I will throw a Kraft single on some Dino Nuggies.
Dino Nuggies. Yeah.
Kurt was just rocking some nugs earlier. We did a 200 nugget challenge in this room a week ago.
That
Dude,
was
misery.
it 2 or 3?
Well, it was 300 total, but it was 3 people eating 100 nuggets to see who could do the most. Shout out to Will. He won. He also proved my theory wrong, which I hate. I hated that more than he won. He proved me wrong. I was like, God damn it, Will. Like, thanks, bro. That's my least favorite thing you did. No, it was good. We had a blast, but dude, the next 2 days were something else. I've never had to process that much food at one time.
Right.
Like a knot just moving.
I was about to say, like, that seems like just hours of troubles in the bathroom.
Well, clearly I don't have the best metabolism. But Will texted me the next morning, rubbing it in even further, and was like, I feel really good today, actually. I was like,
Went for a jog.
thanks, bro. I was like, I feel horrifyingly bad. Like, I have to go to work now.
I think that that's like if you eat that many McDonald's nuggets, like I feel like you should feel bad. That's your body letting you
Oh, no,
know
you did
that-
it to yourself. No, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I deserved all the pain. I'm not discounting that I did it to myself. Like, for sure, everything that happened to me, I 100% deserve. I was red and sweating. I had so much salt in my body.
Yeah, I just
was
feel like
like,
you should
ugh.
go see a doctor if it's like, no, I'm fine now.
I might should have.
You can't eat that much. No, I mean, like, if you eat that much and you're fine, that seems like a red bell, a red alarm of like you got something seriously wrong with you, because that is.
Well, he took his sweet time. I did. So somebody actually kept track of it. They watched it and kept track. Apparently, I did 90 in 45 minutes. And I was done.
You did like 30 in like 5 or just 7.
I did 50 in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it took me 40 to do the next. Like, it took forever to get those next 40 down.
50 is that wall for most.
50 is definitely the where it started going, hey, now, what are we doing? And I was double dunking. I was like, I call myself Fat Stoney. That was good.
I started thinking about like what I would do. It's like, man, I feel like you got to go sauceless because all that sugar and stuff's
It's
just
just
gonna
the
stop
chewing.
you at some point.
It was the chewing.
Yeah.
Honestly, what really, I think I could have smashed the all 100. And me and Kurt
Blend
have a
them up.
theory. Well, no, I mean, clearly, yeah, you could drink them and just get it over with. Like re-liquefy the already liquefied chickens. No.
In the restaurant.
They get cold.
Yeah.
So if you could order 50 and just smash them down, and when you're at your last 10, get that next 50
Yeah.
fresh out of the thing. I'm telling you, by the time I got to, like, they were just mush cold. Like, cold to the touch. Like, you could hit them on something and be like, this is disgusting. All on its own.
Yeah. Like coming in fresh, that's gonna
Yeah.
be like gross and hard to do.
Or
yeah.
we could have done? We could have air fried them back to health. We could have just heated them back up. Shit. That just hit me. Dang. Anyway, I feel like I could have crushed the 100. And I did 90 and Will did 91. He goes, wait, so these two and I beat you? I was like, uh-huh. He was like, okay. And then took like 10 minutes to eat 2
So
more.
did you guys have to tap out to where you couldn't then go?
I
It's
was
like,
going to throw up.
Oh, okay.
I
So that
was
just like
physically out in the parking lot. I almost threw up twice.
you were up to your Adam's apple
Yes.
and chicken nuggets to
I
where
could
it's
f- I
like
could-
this will come up.
I
If
could feel it in
Yeah.
my throat, like my chest. I could feel the meat just sitting like, we're done here. It's like a backed up toilet. Just, if I cough, it's out of me, you know?
What was it you told me? You told me you'd rather do the Hot One challenge again? than do
Yes,
that again?
I'd rather do the Hot Ones challenge.
I
And we
love-
have that on tape, and I did it, and that's so
You cried.
the last day. I cried. I was
Yeah.
throwing things. I
Uh-huh.
was so mad. I was like, "Fuck this! Why? And then it's just tears just pour out of you. They just
Yeah.
coming out. And
Touch your face? Like, did that?
oh no, much worse. I go and we're done, and it's 3.2 million Scovilles. Okay, the last one,
Uh-huh.
and we did a lot. I went overboard because I'm an idiot.
Right.
You
We're
know,
like, oh, this will be good.
Oh
Here
look,
we
I'll
go.
get
Check this
fucking
out.
3 people will watch this. Let me hurt myself.
Let me go to the
And-
hospital real quick.
Yeah. And I go to the bathroom and I open the door and Kurt's standing at the bathroom. He goes, "You washed your hands first, right?" And I went, and as soon as he said it, I was like, "Oh no. Oh no." And it starts burning. Oh my God. Oh, it was all over my wiener. Dude, I had a rag. I soaked it in almond milk and I put it in my underwear.
Uh-huh.
And I had to drive home like that, like this, like in actual pain. I was like, "Kurt, I have to go home." And I got home, and it took an hour for the
pain.
heat to just stop. Oh my God. One of the worst fucking things I've ever experienced, dude. And I snapped my foot around backwards. Like, I wouldn't rather do that, but that was the pain pretty damn close.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
terrible
that-
because long lasting, just Anyway, don't put 3.2 million Scoville hot sauce on your penis.
Lesson,
Turns out
lesson to live by.
it's a bad time. What's that South Park thing? If you do this, you're gonna have a bad time. If you pizza when you should have French fried.
That should be like, we should put that up in my school of like why you should wash your hands. Like, you know, it's like, and then just have your picture just like I always wash my hands.
I
now.
wish we would have videotaped that part. The cameras were off. I was in pure misery. That was a day. We should put that up. Why did we never put that up? I don't know either.
You like spicy?
I love spicy foods. Oh my God.
Same. I've never messed with like, I don't read the Scovilles on much, but like I love like habanero peppers, and those are like medium hot.
Turns out, like that we did the 300,000 the Los Caliente.
Yeah.
Bro, I could live in 300,000.
Yeah.
I mean, Cholula and stuff, someone like 2, 3
To
Scovilles, like 3,000 Scovilles.
2,000,
I don't. It's
3,000,
like
yeah.
maybe 5,000. It's
right.
not a lot.
No, for sure.
But the more of it you have, the like after like your 5th taco, you're like, because you've eaten so much of it.
Sure.
But that Las Caliente was so good. I was like, I could eat this all day. 2-3 tacos with that on it. Ooh.
I like spice. Sometimes I'll like venture into like, okay, this is just punishingly hot. Like that's the whole point of it. I'm like, okay, well, that's good. That's good.
Sometimes it's fun, especially when you're with friends. Now, I will say I was just at Sam's Club a while back. They have the Hot Ones case there.
Yeah. Okay. So it has like the
It's got that little gambit of sauces. I don't think it has all, 10 or something? But it's got like their sauces. And that's really all you need because it goes from the beginning of hot sauce to the middle to it's the hottest pepper in the world. It's certified now.
Is it Carolina Reaper or is it
Pepper X.
Okay, Pepper X. So that's like they engineer it or something.
Oh
like,
yeah, their guy Pepper Dave or something. What's
Pepper something.
Pepper something? But he is apparently the pepper god, and this man engineered this thing. It's this creepy little lime green looking, just death pepper, and boy howdy, it'll send you for a ride.
Beauties of science.
Just, I honestly, if you got a group of buds, it's a great time. We had a blast, but
Sure.
you ain't ready for how fucking hot. The people that eat that fucking wing on that show and don't show anything are monsters. They're monsters.
Yeah.
Mad respect.
Because I'll eat something really hot, but I'm not about to like just be like, no, it's not hot at all. Like I think that's part of the fun is like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. Like this is.
I think they're doing it. I think that's got to be it because they understand like 4 million people are going to watch this.
Yeah.
That show is stupidly popular.
Love it. Yeah.
I do too. I've seen it. I started watching it from the season 1, so I love that show.
Okay.
I've been a day 1 subscriber for that one. Because I love comedy, and all the first ones were like comedians who weren't doing nothing.
Like,
you know, they're
hey,
just
you wanna
like
eat something too spicy
it's like
for you?
Bobby Lee, and he's like, "Oh, what is this show?" And he's like yelling at his producer, "Fuck you! What did you sign me up for?" And those were back in the day when it was just like stuff they could buy at the grocery store.
Right.
These weren't even like what they've engineered now.
Right. Now it's all of the powers of science against you.
And it is a doozy. So bands, huh?
Oh yeah, so bands. How about that? Yeah.
So music.
Oh, what are we doing here? A music podcast? Nah.
Yeah, so I got a couple of projects at the moment. One is Birds with Teeth. It's me, Steven Civils, who...
Yes.
Yeah, your guy.
Love Steven.
Yeah. JB Ross on drums, Max Campbell on bass.
Okay.
All of us have a few projects, so like this is just kind of like it's just like a fun...
Are you doing guitar and vocals?
Yeah, guitar and vocals, and we just kind of like our current project we're doing right now is we're taking a bunch of old bluegrass songs and just kind of like reimagining them. Like it's not like so I grew up in a town that plays a lot of bluegrass. I grew up in a town called Mountain View, Arkansas.
Yep, been there.
Yeah. So a lot of bluegrass up there, and like. I would like listen to it and say, "Oh, well, what if we, played this kind of bluesy or something, or like, kind of, like put like more of like a 4 to the floor beat to this," and then
like indie it up or like
indie it up just a smidge, and then like that was me back when I was like 14.
That's cool.
And now I was just like, man, what if we put like just thick chords behind this and like,
y'all ever heard of bluegrass shoegaze?
yeah. So yeah, it's just like it's kind of like real dancey type of bluegrass stuff, like the
dancey bluegrass.
Yeah, which like
is this
you could
Birds with
argue-
Teeth or your other?
Yeah,
project?
This is Birds with Teeth. Like a lot of this current thing, which we just kind of will think of. It's like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we kind of worked on this for a while? And so this is what we're doing. Like we had some original songs that I had written that were kind of thematically oriented around like gambling.
Okay.
Like little autobiographical things of like, oh, when I was in college, this was the one time when I was doing something is like, this is interesting. This kind of sounds like a song. And it was just like gambling things. And then we decided that we would, have some fun with like these bluegrass reimaginations and just kind of dance around. Yeah, well, it's so nice because my band is so talented. Like anytime that I want to be in a successful music group, it's really important that I'm like by far the worst musician on stage. And
I feel that.
Yeah, and I have that in spades.
Takes the pressure off of me.
Yeah, well, it's just like if anybody's counting on me to like bust out like, oh, that was a sick solo, man. And it's like, well, you're gonna be sitting here for a while because that's not gonna happen.
Preaching to the choir on that one. I wrote the anti-solo on purpose so I could have a solo. Like we were like, this song needs a solo. I was like, I think I'm just gonna hit notes.
Yeah,
and that's all I do.
Real
I just
jazz,
hit random notes. No, none of it makes sense. It's all on purpose. It's bad on purpose. Second most brilliant thing I ever did. Next to the cheese stick sandwich.
Cheese stick sandwich. That's going to be first place for a long time.
It's up there. It's up there. I'm winning on that one. I get that totally. That's actually funny. So are all your songs yours, or are you taking and borrowing riffs from other... Because I know bluegrass and country are kind of that way where you can borrow from.
So... like we'll take a song like Little Maggie, which is like a fast, upbeat bluegrass standard, and then I'll keep the melody the same and like really famous. Have you seen "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou"?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the song "Oh Death," that's sung by this famous bluegrass tenor Ralph Stanley, and when he sings Little Maggie, he'll do this thing where he'll like over yonder stand, and he'll just hold it out for like a minute. And so like we do that, like I keep the melody the same, but then the music and the vibe behind everything is drastically different. Like this is like it's almost unrecognizable if you don't listen to a lot of bluegrass. Like I feel like I usually have to tell people, it's like, all right, well, these next songs are bluegrass songs, But then like Steven and like Max, they're always like rolling their eyes. I was like, these are like, that does not accurately describe what they're about to hear. I was like, well, they're bluegrass songs that don't sound anything like bluegrass songs.
Do you guys have an imagination? Use it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll hear it eventually. Listen to the bluegrass. Bluegrass is fun. I like it.
It's fun. I think that, you know, growing up in Mountain View where they're like, most of them are pretty strict traditionalists for bluegrass music.
Sure.
Was kind of like, it's hard to be 14 and like figuring out how to play music when people are like, well, you have to do it this way or it's wrong. And
I just want to rock and roll, Dad.
yeah, right?
Yeah. Why are you always shitting on my dreams?
And I think that like, which I mean, I was never like a strong like flat picker or anything, but it dawned on me that like in order to be good in the eyes of a lot of the players in Mountain View, it's like, well, you need to learn how to play Rocky Top faster than everyone else plays Rocky Top. And I'm like, well, that's too linear. Like that's not like, there's not enough creativity as far as like achieving art.
You're just learning something that's already done.
Yeah.
You're just learning it.
And I like it. Like, you know, like I'll go to Mountain View and they'll be playing music up on the court square. There'll be like a 13-year-old just ripping a mandolin.
Whoa.
And it's just, oh man, that's nasty. That's so good. And I can listen to it just all day. It's a blast, but it's just not what I wanted to do musically, I don't think. Nor could I do musically. Maybe I just decided, it's like, oh, this is too hard. I'm going to decide that I'm going to do a more artful thing and have it be this.
I was doing really good in my early years of like guitar playing and like learning. I was really into it. I played every single day, hours a day. When you're a kid, you can afford to do that because you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
And we didn't really, I mean, gaming was a thing, but it wasn't my thing. So just sit in my room, do that, listen to like albums, try to play that. I got to like where I could go, like I was almost to like sweep picking because that was cool.
Oh yeah, that was like a huge thing.
You know, I could go down and get like halfway back up. I was still kind of working on it, and then it's like, you know what? Power chords are dope. I think I'm just going to stay there. I think I'm just going to focus on writing and kind of more lean my talents into writing songs over just being the best guitar player. Because like there's already the best guitar players. I'm never going to get that good because I'm already behind, so far behind. I started music technically like late in life for wanting to be a professional musician. You know, so it's like that part's already done. Maybe I can do something different. I was always fascinated with. This is going to sound silly. And it's very strange, but I picked up early on, Head from Korn, his right hand is the true brilliance of that band. It's not this hand, it's this hand.
Yeah.
If you go and just like try not to listen to the vocals and stuff and listen to that early stuff, the picking structures in those songs is so percussive.
Yeah.
And so sickly unique to just that dude. And I've started like getting into that, like, oh, you can make that like your thing, and you can do more with this hand and this hand and try to combine the two in different weirder ways. And then I just got off on a whole thing and it's like got really into writing songs over it. Like I have a challenge. I haven't done it yet, but I want a 1-note song.
Yeah.
I play the same note for the whole song, but the song has to be good.
So like, is that like the whole, like, are you saying like the lead guitar plays 1 note the whole time?
I am
and
the
then
guitar.
The band moves around it?
The drummer, but like the band I'm in, Lame Johnny, we're a 3-piece.
Yeah. So
it's just a guitarist, a bassist, and a drummer.
And you would just be playing 1 note, and the bass and drums are like filling in things around it to like.
He would just play the 1 note too.
Play the 1 note too.
The drummer can do whatever he wants, which he's a bad motherfucker. So I mean, clearly he will do whatever he wants. I don't. There's not a lot of times where I might be like, hey, can you do a fill here instead of just a snap? But like, as far as like what it is, I'm never like, hey, Justin, can you? It's like he's already gonna write something better than I ever could.
I never know how to tell like it's like, well, could it sound more?
Yeah. Well, luckily, me and him are like linked in the brain, so like I can just be like, you know what I'm saying? He'll go, I know exactly what you're saying, and then do exactly what I was thinking. It's weird. It's really like telepathic.
Steven and my drummer JV, because Steven's like a percussion guy, and so they'll just like
also stupidly talented.
Yeah,
like obsessively good. You can tell.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
And they'll just get off on their own little thing where they're just like like they'll just get into polyrhythms. They're just like, hey, check it out. And like Steven will hear something JB does and get excited, and so Steven will do something, and then those two are just off.
Just
like
fucking, and you're just sitting there like
they're having their own conversation while I'm just like, all right, man, I sure hope I find beat one because y'all are being weird. Here
is
we
that
go.
is that a 5 or what is that, a 3? Where are we at? Yeah, dude.
Anytime, like, we'll just set JB loose, like, when we're introducing the band, and, like, JB will, like, take 8 bars. I'm back in 6th grade. It's like, I need to tap my foot. Oh, man, because he'll just really get out there, and I'm just like, man, if I can't find beat 1, how embarrassing is this?
Oh, I mean, I don't. I count with... It took Justin a long time to figure out how I count things, because he was like, some way you always find it, but I count with language. So I do it through a sentence. Like I'll hear a beat and I'll just go over to my head and I'll just make up a word. Even if it's just like, you know how you used to sound out words like mashed potato?
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
I'm just doing that to the beat so I can find it. Instead of going like 1, 2, because I'm bad at math. I've always been bad at math. It doesn't make sense to me. It's just like, and I'm in construction. I can read a tape measure. I can do all those things.
Sure.
But that's just because I've been doing it for that long. And still, been playing music forever. You're like, oh, this is in 5 whatever. And I'm like, just play the note. I'll get there.
I love it.
It'd be like mashed potatoes and beans, mashed potatoes and beans. And then we had a little on the end. Yeah. I got it.
Yeah, so theory on point is what you're saying. It's like, no, check it out. Just mashed potatoes, something on the end. We got it.
Something on the end, dude. It's like, what is it, gravy? What'd you put on there?
It's just the bridge, you know? That's how it is.
And then sometimes I'll write something myself and I won't know that it's not
Not in 4 or
in
something?
4. And Justin will be like, what is that, like 1357? I'm like, I don't know. I did write this one thing and we still haven't fleshed it out. I wrote it years ago at this point, but it's so sick. And he's just like, what even is that? I'm like, I don't know, dude.
Is it a Southern thing, like with like weird time signatures? Because in old folk music, like back to words and rhythm, they would just do like a whole song would be in 4, and then they'd just like, no, this one measures in 5 because there's more words in this line, and so like the measure doesn't start over until they get finished singing. And my mom would play piano like that, to where like it's in 4. But if there's a line that she feels should take a little bit longer, it just comes to 1. And my dad would like play music with her, and he just kind of figured it out, because I think that's what you do. Like when you play a lot of like Southern type music, is like, look, it's the downbeat is eventually it gets there, but it's not structured to where it's like, I'm not going to change how I'm going to sing this to stay in time. The time will change to stay with how I'm singing this. And I noticed that like so much in like these older folk songs, where it's just like it feels so metal, like especially like when you get to like the murder ballads and stuff, where it's just
metal
like,
came from. I mean, that's where it came from, was just rock and roll and the set. Yeah, there might be something to that.
Yeah,
there might be something deep down in the soul, like some sort of universal construct where, because this was the first instrument. You know, the voice. So everything led from that. So we only built everything else around what we could sing to, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like some like really deep-seated thing where the vocal has always taken priority, because it does when you mix the song, when you make the song, the vocalist is always the front man,
center,
like,
yeah.
Which we try to avoid that as much as humanly possible, because I don't like the attention. I love attention, but for some reason on stage I'm like, don't look at me.
Yeah.
I stand off to the side. We put Justin in the middle.
Vocals, man, I don't know. I've never taken care of my instrument that well, and so like
I smoke like a freight train, man. There's no way. I did.
But yeah, so like me and Steven have another project called All Kinds of Up, and what's so nice about it is that
what is that stuff?
All Kinds of Up is a loop project. Like we have one of those loopers. We use the Boss RC202.
Okay.
And we just vibe. Like it's a project that I called Steven one day. I was like, hey, would you be interested in starting a project that is just focused on gigging and making a little bit of extra money? And so and he was like, yes, absolutely.
So is it just a jam band?
It's very jammy. It sounds like it's It's like if Lo-Fi Beats to Study To was just like doing covers of like songs that like pop songs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So is it like song subject to change, or is it like we have a formula and this we repeat it every time?
So our set list usually just looks like it's a list of songs that'll usually have like the tempo and like a loose idea of like the chord structure, and then we just start like we just build it as we perform. And like some of them we run into some stuff where it's like, oh well, this we really like, we don't say it, but we just both remember it's like, hey, it was cool when we did this. And so he'll do that, and it'll just kind of like start me into like, oh yeah, and then we want to add this way. And but what's so nice is that I don't have to sing all that much. Like, we do so many different solos. Like, it's fun because since everything's looped, we just like play whatever. Like, Steven plays bass and keys and guitar.
You just get inspired by the moment and pick up whatever.
Yeah,
that's
just
pretty
really
sick.
It's fun to just like jam, you know? Like, it's like a two-man jam band. I get to play trumpet in it. Oh, it's so
a two-man
much fun.
band is the dream. Are you kidding me? One of these days. Just, it's the hardest thing in the world to pull off, but man, and when it's done right, holy moly.
Super good.
Super good.
Was at Four Quarter. I saw this two-man band called And Then Came the Humans, and it
Okay.
was just this like
Is that a local
psychedelic.
band?
No, I think they were
okay.
from. I think they were from New Orleans. But
That's
part of
dope.
me's just guessing because they were like good. Like, they could sling. Like, it was just a guitarist and a drummer, no vocals, and he would just like play. Like, he's like one of those guitarists where it's like, okay, but here's the melody with the chords and a bass line, like, at the same
he's just
time.
that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they would just like go from song to song
That's a
to song
different
to
kind of
song.
person.
And like, they were so tight. Like, every transition just seemed to like really slap. Like, it was
That's up there with like those acoustic people.
yeah,
With all the
slapping the guitars, the one-handed harmonics. Yeah.
Oh, it turns out every note's a harmonic. What the fuck? Dude, are you watching this? Or now they've added electronica like elements to the guitar.
Yeah.
Those pads, and it'll amplify through the hole. It's just like, this is unreal.
It's
Truly unreal.
it's really kind of fun to watch. Like, when it's like, man, what
It's
are
the
they
most
gonna
entertaining
figure
thing in the world. It's like you're so talented, I can't even fathom the amount of talent you have.
out? Right? Ugh.
Like, what? Who sat down and figured that out? Why did we get to a place where it's like, this is boring?
It's the loneliest musicians where it's like, man, I want to play, but I don't have a bass guitar. I don't have a bass player. I don't have a lead guitarist, and I don't have a drummer. Maybe
just
I can
alone.
start doing all of these by myself.
I'm just alone. Yeah, let me figure it out on one instrument.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. And they do. And now you go like this, and you'll get in one of those music algorithm things, and you're just like, oh, I'm the worst musician in the world.
Yeah.
I just watched a 9-year-old do everything better than me.
Yeah. I just can't. Growing up in Mountain View told me that, like, okay, I cannot hold myself to the standards of very talented little kids because it'll just make me feel so bad.
Yeah, you can't compare your talents to other people's talents.
Yeah. And
It'll just make you stop.
well, it's like one of those things to where I could handle. It's like, man, Steve I's really fast at guitar. But then, like, I see an 11-year-old do it, and I'm like, oh, now I kind of feel bad about myself. And so I just had to stop, like, where it's like, no, there's just different journeys in life.
I'm just better at different things, like, being.
I'm sure they're out there. Like, I don't need to know. I'm not
I don't
going
need
to
to know
list
what I'm better at.
the things.
You know what? That's for other people to decide.
Yes. There's for other people to tell me when I'm very sad about how good these little kids are.
Oh man, I get in my own way more than anyone should when it comes to like music writing.
I mean, like, yeah, there's just, it's good. Like, I always tell when I have like students that are starting to write music or whatever, I usually tell them, it's like, okay, you need to just write a lot because you're going to come back in a couple of years and look at probably the first 50 songs you wrote, and you're just going to cringe so hard.
My God, it's so bad. My first band, I had the best memories. Loved it. Had the time of my life. I was going to be a rock star.
Oh, yeah.
All this things. And then, but I listened to it and I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Everything, like
What was I thinking?
the music and the lyrics and like the melodies, like everything is just like, okay, well the guitar does this, and the bass does the same thing, but on a bass.
Yeah.
And then the vocals, well, they do the same thing too, but it's just vocally.
But it's from a voice box.
Yeah, and then the drums, if you could just, every time I say a word, just hit the drum.
That's
and then-
right.
And just, oh, it's a mess. But, you know, after those first 50 songs, like, and there's like a little bit of gold, like, sprinkled out throughout
Sure.
those
There's
bad
parts
ones.
that I still will noodle around. I wrote 20 years ago that I'm like, this part rules.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, it's just got all these wonderful memories of, like, when the world was just nothing but possibilities for, like, music and things. MySpace was still a thing. Like,
Barely. That was just becoming a thing. We didn't even have one. Our band didn't even have. We had a. What was that shit? Angel Fire?
oh,
We had an Angel Fire.
yeah.
Like,
Were your songs on Napster?
no. It was like, I don't even know that we had songs on the internet because we broke up before. We made the record and then we broke up. Go figure. I have them personally, but I don't think that they ever got uploaded to anything. I don't even know if Angel Fire still is like a go-toable thing.
Right.
It was just like, here we are, and of course you had to have like the profile shots of every member.
Yeah.
You had to explain what everyone did. Isn't that funny how like no one even gives a shit about that anymore?
Yeah.
No one does that. They're like, oh, this is whatever the Xavier, and he does bass, and they're like,
Short little bio.
we just need to
about-
see the thing and the
Yeah.
just give me the music, or the TikTok or whatever the hell your
Yeah.
thing is. Yeah, the whole knowing who does what. It's like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Staying hydrated, baby.
All right.
I'm parched.
Fuck.
Oh, I'm hydrated. Actually, I was up late last night. I'm very tired. That show went way long, and then I was drinking beer.
You left 2 hours late.
Yeah.
Pizza D's?
No,
No.
Vino's.
Vino's.
I wish I was at Pizza. I would. The show last night was fine, and I got to see some bands, and like I liked it. But I really wanted to be at Pizza D's last night. It's one of the downfalls to working at a venue. Like shows you really want to see. If
You
you're
always gotta
working, you
show,
can't.
yeah. Mhm.
And man, last night looked like a fucking blast they were having. Did you go?
No, I didn't make it out, but Steven was playing.
Yeah.
So,
Any given room?
yeah, figured it'd be a good time. Those guys are,
It's
blast.
ridiculous. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I love
ridiculous.
listening to
They're
them.
so good.
yeah.
It's like so different too. Which I
Yeah.
guess your Birds with Teeth is so different too. That's what Steven was telling me. I need to see y'all. I'm going to, I guess.
Yeah.
On the 6th. Like I'm going to be forced to. So there's no matter what, I will see you. But it sounds so different. Is it like, I'm trying to think, is it is it like, you know how there's like the musicians bands, kind of like how there's the comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like, I get that our fan base might not ever be like worldwide, but this is truly something everybody, when they see it and they know, they're just like, this is crazy good.
I think that, like, when people who are in bands listen to us, they usually find the person who's doing what they do in their band, and so they'll hear Max on bass, and Max is a monster, and like we give him room to breathe, because like a lot of these songs, you know, because they're bluegrass songs,
Sure.
There's a lot of like instrumental parts in it, just like there would be traditionally in bluegrass. And so like they'll hear Max like do something, and they're like, oh, okay, well this band has a very tasty bass player, or they'll hear JB
Dude,
on
a tasty
drums.
bassist is like one of the best things in music.
Man, it's hard for me on stage. Like I make all kinds of faces. Like when
I'd love to see horns make a comeback too in like modern music, which is kind of starting to a little bit.
yeah.
But a good bassist, whew, man, it goes a long way.
Jupiter's Flytrap has a sax player now.
Yeah. Oh, there are bands doing things with horns. It's kind of starting to
It's
peek
coming
through.
back, yeah.
Lame Johnny's original thing had a horns section.
Nice.
It was like, dude, we were gonna be like a 9, like the Slipknot of rock and roll. I wanted to make a legit rock and roll band with like horns and a whole thing. And we did it for a while, and now it's just a 3-piece punk rock band. It's just middle fingers everywhere. Fucking fuck you, fuck your fucking everything. Fuck it all. Burn it down.
Love it.
It's very angry.
Punk rock is like, it's like the romance of baseball, to where it's just like, no, like so much of it is just like the aesthetic of just like pure anarchy, like translated into music. And not just like lyrically, just like the music itself is like, no, all of the rules of music should be broken in this moment. And
Right.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's like I don't care. Like this is supposed to, you're telling me it's supposed to be a certain way and you're supposed to have this movement and this movement, that, and then that will get you to this movement. It's like, no, I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah, because all of the rules of music are just like kind of like these societal constructs. And so
it really is.
This is an idea. Like this music is based on like smashing it.
That math turns into long form math. Like music now at the top of the charts is written via an algorithm that we figured out, probably 40 years or 50 years ago now. It's like at this BPM and this blah, blah, blah. And if you repeat the chorus, this means, and just slowly we figured out what is the most attractive way to hear a song. Yeah. And they just boiled it down to that. Where a modern day pop song has one verse of words and then the same thing
it's just
over
that hook.
and
yeah.
over.
So you need
over.
8 words that people are going to sing with you by the end of this. And it's
whatever.
It's fine.
We're all tapping our toes.
Yeah.
But it is the least giving, I will say, to like the soul. It is like the bastard, I don't know how to describe it. It's the least though. Like I don't feel nothing. Like I'm singing along, but it's not making me feel something.
Sure. No, that's a good way to put it. Because it's not like, I'm not gonna like cry
in my car alone, like going, man, this is just so powerful. Yeah. It's not like I'm listening to Timothy from Massey's Burn, just bawling my fucking eyes out, making me feel every feeling in one song.
Right.
Because it's so powerful.
And that's not me hating on pop music, because I feel like
it's fine. It
there's
has its
some
place, for
good
sure.
pop music. But I think like the algorithm, as far as like, there's almost a subgenre of pop where it's like, all right, look, we could just chat GPT this whole song. Like, and
at this
be
point,
fine.
for sure.
Yeah. But there's some great pop music out there.
But they did. Oh, yeah. I mean, some. It's.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, to each his own. There's some pop music that I really, like, I mess with.
I'm going to get all the hate and shit. But it's like, it's fine because it doesn't add anything to anything. It's just kind of for the moment. It's like background music at a Macy's is what it's meant for. It's not really, I don't know. I like songs that mean stuff. Even if that meaning is silly and it's just for funs.
For sure.
But like more than 3 things to say. Can you paint a picture for me?
What about Michael Jackson?
I mean, I love Michael Jackson's music.
For sure, for sure.
I think time will tell about the other stuff. What is that noise? Do you hear that?
Is it your candle?
Oh, it's still burning, Kurt.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. This thing has been pissing me off. I've been trying to keep this thing lit for like weeks now. I'll come in and light it and it just goes away. I think I might have just accidentally put it out. It doesn't matter. That's the longest that has stayed lit for sure. Don't buy Target Woodwick candles.
Yeah. The Woodwick.
Sorry, I get distracted easily. But I don't know. Substance. I like it in songs.
For sure.
Lyrics more specifically.
That is something that didn't start until I got older as well. Because when I was like in high school and was like first getting into like heavier music, lyrics were so secondary to like
that's my wife. She
there
doesn't
would
give
usually
a fuck
be like
about
a
lyrics.
hook where I would be like, no, I like this hook. And I didn't realize that like so many of the lyrics, like especially like the second verse, would just be so weak. And now that I'm older, it's just like, oh man, like lyrically, like a song needs to be gripping. And if it's not, then it's so disappointing. Because like it might be a great song, but
yeah, beats. Well, it's like my wife, she does that. She's like, oh, I don't care what they're saying. I love the beat. I'm like, well, that makes sense. But then in turn, she's in a band with me and she writes wonderful lyrics.
Yeah.
She's an incredible lyric writer and performer. I love the way she sings. I'm a genuine fan of my wife's like vocalist abilities. And she's not formally anything. She's just doing what she thinks she wants to hear.
Yeah.
So it's just someone who's not technically a musician doing something that is oddly very well done for someone who doesn't understand like song structures in a way where like she's not counting the beats. She's just doing how it feels in the moment.
I think that there's a lot, like when you're really experimenting in like just the creative space of music, I think that there's this idea of like, oh, well, you know, like, well, what kind of training do you have? Like what, and I don't necessarily know that that's as paramount, like when you're just on the creative side of things. Like my brother, I really, really respect and value his taste in music. He's not a musician at all, but I just think that like, when it's something that you just want to feel, like, you know, it doesn't necessarily matter if it's like, oh, well, did they, like, you know, it's like, well, you know, they're really doing a B minor here, but based on the key we're in,
it should be an
like
A sharp or something,
like,
B7.
What are we doing here? And it's like, well, no, that's like, come on, like that's if you're confined by those rules to where you're like every decision is dictated by it, then I think that you're kind of inhibited by them.
Boxing yourself in is like the worst in my mind. But I live in a chaos brain, so it's like I can't have a box. We have this, you know, we've been writing a lot for this other band I'm in, Shinfo, and it's like we just write, and when it feels right, that's it. Like we just wrote one, and it's like 2 minutes, and we were trying to add something, and I was like, it's done. Like, why are we trying to add? Why are we forcing something that the song's already awesome? Like, why does it matter if it's not 3 minutes long? Well, who said it has to be 3 minutes long? Dude, it took me forever to get my mind off of a song has to be
verse, chorus, bridge, chorus.
Right, like that whole like, oh well, we need a bridge. Mm-hmm. We have to have a bridge, and then we can do a breakdown ending or something. Like it doesn't necessarily have to go back into the chorus, but we got to get out of that into this. And it's like, no, you can just do that.
Yeah,
you can just. I mean, who cares? Hard stop, whatever.
I worked on a project where I wanted to just write songs that were 1 minute, but not like where it felt like the first minute of one song, like where it's like the whole song is just 1 minute, and you have to trim the fat out of everything to where it's like, no, I can't have just like this long intro where you get introduced to the idea slowly. It's like it has to get there soon, and I can't have like a verse where it's like, well, this verse is really just this one line that I want people to hear, and then 3 lines of filler. It's like everything just had to be really intentional.
Wow.
And it was a blast. Like it's so funny. I thought it's like I'm gonna write 60.
How did the styles end up? Because I feel like it ends up being more like like
it sounds like a commercial jingle, right?
Yeah, it seems more jinglish. Like how do you boil that? It's like write a song and then take out everything that isn't just the nuts of the song.
Yeah. So some of them, like a lot of them came out as like kind of sad boy indie type stuff.
Okay.
But then like there was one. So there was this
very Scott Pilgrim of you.
Yeah. Right. I wanted to write this one song, and it was like a drop D kind of like Delta bluesy, like some heavy guitar in it though. And
love that Delta blues.
Yeah, and it was like I wrote it about William Tecumseh Sherman, like the Northern general that burned down Atlanta in the Civil War, and it was a really fun song, and it had a beginning like where it built up to like this one spot. Like the song's somewhere like on my Instagram.
I love that this man's writing history songs. I write history songs too.
It's so much fun.
Like our band Lame Johnny is from a real person.
Yeah,
he was a horse thief in the 1800s, and like our whole thing is around him.
That's cool.
It's from South Dakota in the Black Hills. Like we had an actual thematic record that was very like Western inspired. All the songs were about this man's life. Very
love
like
it.
Yes.
Oh,
that's wild. We even wrote in like a love interest, and then we had this whole thing. Like again, we were supposed to be like a big rock style band, and then now it's just like we're not gonna do none of that. We abandoned that quick.
I love so I'm a middle school history teacher, and like one of my idols, it's a guy from the town that I grew up. His name's Jimmy Driftwood, and he wrote the Battle of 1812. He was my grandma's teacher at Timbo High School.
Wow.
And he wrote thousands of songs that were all just like these history lessons, and he would do it so his kids could like learn their history.
All right,
lessons.
ABCs, man.
Yeah,
it works.
And he wrote the Ballad of Jim Barry, and it was about this kid from Fox, Arkansas, that was left. You know, like he's like 14 years old, so he couldn't go into the Civil War, and there were Jayhawkers around, and there was this really bad Confederate Jayhawker named Bill Dark, and he was going around just like killing, raping, stealing, everything, just awful. There's tons of stories about just the terror that he was in like Van Buren County, Stone County, all this stuff. And he, like, Jim Barry was 14 years old, but that's like the most man that was there if you weren't like, or it was like somebody was like 60. And so Bill Dark went to go kill Jim Barry and chased him like to a house, and Jim Barry shoots him in the forehead. And he wrote a song about that so he could teach his kids about
crazy.
it. And it's a cool song. Like, the song is really good. That's gonna like, it's on the list of songs that I would like to reimagine, just like taking that melody and then like, and that one I feel like needs to be really metal though.
I feel like you're gonna have to get real dark with that
yeah,
one.
Right?
Yeah,
It's so good.
That's a wild ass story.
Oh yeah, like, and he would like, it's just fantastic. I love it. Like when, like Horse Thieves and things like when like that stuff makes it
that
into
guy's
music.
nickname was Limping John, and then they called him Lame Johnny. But imagine, we need to bring that back. Can we bring that back? Like, you just, because this man's name was Driftwood. Like, that's cool
Jimmy
as
Driftwood,
fuck.
right?
Kurt Calamari, Kurt.
Limp Bizkit.
Biscuit, yeah. Mine's like, I guess we do that actually. Actually, we hasn't gone away. We all have Instagram hand. I know people, I can't remember their name, but their handle I remember. I'm like, oh, this is bad. You know, this is bad.
I used to.
What's up, Calamine Lotion 246?
I used to play cards. I used to play a lot of cards.
Wait, what kind of cards are we talking here? Like
mostly
gambling?
Texas Hold'em.
Okay.
A
you were gonna be
little
like
bit
Magic
of
the
Omaha
Gathering.
High-Low. Oh yeah. No, I was so. Imagine people that are super obsessed with Magic. That's how obsessed I was with poker.
Okay.
But I used to play cards, and for the life of me, I mean, I sat around for hundreds of hours with this man, and I can't remember his name because we all just called him Booger.
There you go.
And
You don't need to know his name.
yeah, if I saw him, I'd just be like, "Oh, hey, Boog," and like it was just like one of those things where it's I feel so
Boog.
bad, and it's like in the back of my head, it's like, no, I know his real name. I know that his mother did not look at him and be like, "I will call you Booger," like, but I just can't.
Somebody did.
Yeah,
Maybe he ate his bugs when he was little.
he said
Didn't we all?
it was because he had freckles. And we refused to accept that.
ain't
Like, it's
it.
like, that is not the answer. That is not.
There's
why.
a story that man is embarrassed to tell. that is not why you call somebody Booger.
They call me Booger because I used to have freckles.
Yeah. When you say it out loud, you're like, that sounds like bullshit. Shout out to Booger, wherever you're at, man.
Yeah,
we know you're
yeah,
watching,
yeah.
so thanks for tuning in and checking out the podcast. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Could you imagine Booger finds this and like comments? Can you imagine a world where Booger finds this?
He was all. So I was about.
Is he alive? Is Boog still with us?
Should be. I feel like I would have heard through the grapevine if he wasn't, and it would have to be something strange happened if he weren't. But I was always so much. I was always like the kid at the poker table. I was like,
How old are you
college,
now?
34,
Oh, okay.
and like this is over a decade ago, and just playing a lot of cards with. I would imagine that the average age was probably like 30 years older than me.
Wow.
At least. And like they would just they were brutal to me. Like they would take my money and then also just like just twist the knife as they were taking it.
For sure.
And it was the best. It was so fun, so reckless. Like such a dumb time in my life.
Hell yeah.
But
My favorite times.
yeah, exactly. Like, cause in college, I didn't really party. I didn't really like drink that much, and I would just go and it would
Just
be like
gambling.
I would go like I would get to a game at like 7:00, and then leave at maybe 4 a.m.
That's insane. That's so wild. I don't understand.
It's the
I
worst.
don't understand that at all.
It's the most
I'm
boring
gonna
thing.
sit here for 9 hours and just lose money. What?
Well, you know, you win money too.
Not
win.
me. Never won a single dime in my life.
Let's go to the casino.
Huh?
Let's go to the casino.
Oh no, hell no.
The best thing that can happen is you go to a casino and you lose and have a terrible time, and you never want to go back. Like,
That's me.
if
I've
the first
done
time
that.
you go, it's like, oh man, I made like $300.
I went to Vegas. I put $20 in the machine. It was gone in less than a minute, and I got back up, and I was like, well, that's all I needed to know.
That is, I guarantee that you walked away better than most people, because if you only lost $20 in Vegas, that's hard to do.
I would find those little tickets laying around that still like, they're like 89
80
cents or
yeah.
whatever. And I would just hand them to people who look like they needed it.
Just
Here you
gather
go.
them up. It's like, hey man,
Well, they're everywhere.
There's like $3 there. There you go.
One casino's got like 4 billion people in it. That town is wild. You ever been there?
I have not been to Vegas. I don't think
always
that's a
told
good idea
myself
for
I
me.
never would, and I'm so happy I actually went.
Yeah,
You don't have to gamble.
for
Dude,
sure.
It is.
I think
It's one of the wildest, and I only saw 2 miles of it, and it's like 7 miles.
were you on the strip?
No.
No?
I mean, I was on part of one of the strips, but like at the
Okay.
end near the Raiders Stadium. Like
Right,
all
right.
the way literally at the end. And man, oh man, what a time I had. What a time I had. I was only there for like 3 hours. It's the most magnificent, maybe 4 hours. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I wasn't there long. And wow, I would do it again in a heartbeat. But if you have a gambling issue, stay away, because it's all gambling.
Yeah, it just feels like that there would be. Well, I don't know, because I can't play cards because my girlfriend, like, I have better sense than to be like, hey, you know what would be really fun if you sat next to me quietly for 10 hours while I play cards. Like, that's obviously not gonna work. And then like
While I lose our money.
yeah, it's like, well, let's both separately go to Vegas and we might see each other in the hotel room. Like, that's also not gonna work. And
I know little Kevin wanted a Matchbox thing for Christmas, but it's gone now.
But actually, I emptied out his savings account.
Yeah.
So no, yeah, no, and so I mean, like, I can play cards like every once in a while, but it's just something to where now it's just finding the time, which is great, like,
Right.
because I don't want to just
Too
be
busy to just gamble away your money.
exactly. That's
good.
a good space to be in.
It is a good space to be in. I have a huge problem with gambling. I mean, even it's like, oh man, like, do you want to, even like doing certain things seem like gambling to me. And I'm like, I don't know, like going to new restaurants. Why
Getting
would we
health
go
insurance.
here when we know for a fact this one is delicious? Because like going to the restaurant ain't cheap anymore.
Yeah,
You go and it's like, me and my wife, it's like, oh, that was $37.50. You're like, what? We got nothing. $37.50, and I have to tip now too. And it's like $48 later. I'm like, I don't ever want to eat out again. I thought this was a Chinese buffet.
yeah. Oh well, how's your buffet game?
I mean, look at me, man. Actually, my buffet game is actually pretty weak. I'm not gonna lie. No. I was gonna try and church it up. It's pretty bad. I get the same 2 things over and over and over
At a buffet,
until I'm full.
I usually I have to plan like when I go to a buffet because I need to be like hungry enough to where
Right, you feel justified.
my per plate meal like is like at a level that I can like live with.
I got mad at my little brother last time we went because he like barely ate anything. I was like, "That's $16."
That's
You gotta
right.
go get
Yeah.
some more. Go get another plate.
I used to, in my early 20s,
Oh.
I would sneak food out of the buffet.
I mean, and that's after you ate 5 plates of food.
oh yeah, yeah.
And they only charge you $4 for that. You're like, oh, the lunch deal's only $7. You're like, that we're gonna eat here all day.
And then have like Tupperwares like in the purse that would like get a little bit of that.
For sure.
Not proud of it.
Did they have a place in Mountain View where you could? Was there a?
No, that was like once I went to college.
Oh,
The
okay.
KFC had a buffet, and that's where I cut my teeth on binge eating. There, as a young boy, learned how to
At the
like
KFC.
make it work. Yeah.
What was the cheesy dish today? Rice. They only had like seven. Dude, I don't know. The KFC buffet's always been kind of weak. The old school pizza buffet was another. But that was like when that place was legendary.
Yeah, no,
when they had
right.
like arcade machines, and they had like a full spread buffet, salad bar,
and they cut the pieces so small, which was fun because I left feeling like
Party
a champion.
cuts. That's right.
Where I'm just like, I just ate 17 slices of pizza. I must be a superhero.
But this like 3 slices is 1 slice.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Really you have like 4 slices of pizza. They're
right.
They're like, kid, we won so much money off of you. But you felt awesome.
Because it would just be like a competition where it's like, okay, well, how many slices can you eat? Have to eat the crust.
I don't know, man. I miss that. I have like such a hard nostalgia for like those times because it was more than just going and sitting down and eating. There was like pinball machines and you could game, and once like arcade style cabinets came in and like all this other, there was the place you're going to and then the other shit to do in that place.
Yes.
And all the buildings were uniquely their self. Now it all looks the same.
Oh,
all the food is not great.
The McDonald's with like the play pits and stuff.
Yeah.
That was, or back for a hot minute, those McDonald's that had the N64s.
Oh yes, out in like the kiosk area.
Had like that little extender arm with the controller
Absolutely.
attached to it.
Those
Play
were dope.
Mario Kart 64 at McDonald's.
Those things were always taken up. You never, when I would go, it was like peak hours, you know, because I'm like with my parents, so they're like, it's lunchtime, let's go. And they're just, every time you go, there's some kid on there.
Sometimes you could find like the right vibe to where it was like a group of kids like
Would
that would
share.
self-govern themselves. They're like, winner plays on. Or you could do like top 2 play on, like on those 4-player races. And it's just like, all right, like, you know, like, and you'd have a line. It would just be like an arcade where it's just like, no, okay, like, we got to take this kid down. Like, keeps picking Yoshi like a little jerk.
Dude, shout out Yoshi. He's one of my favorites. I love Yoshi. So when you're writing lyrics to songs, I'm always like fascinated how people do it. I am very, very like, I'll write it out. Like how clearly I have like an idea of what I want it to be. Like I have a new song I'm working on. I don't have any music to it yet, so I'm kind of like trying to stave off writing down lyrics because I love having the music in my hand. I can play it.
Yeah.
I like writing the song and the lyrics at the same time.
Definitely same.
You same. And then I'll go back home with like the rough map and just sit there and write, and I'll play it. And then I'll go back and like say this line. It's like it's just not feeling it, and finally get something else. And then I'll have to start the song completely over and play up to that point to make sure the whole vibe is continued on past that point. It's very, very like time consuming. Lots of like pages torn over, you know.
I think so. I very much believe in like the idea of like having a muse, like, and so I need like my philosophy behind it is like I need to be as ready as possible for when a song comes, because like it's so hard for me to just like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna write a song, and like I get there and I'm just like, okay, and I have nothing, and like I can start trying to like force it out, and I can like get the song out, and it's a good exercise because it's uncomfortable, it's difficult, it's all these things.
Alone.
Yeah. And then but then every once in a while, like I'll just be playing, and I try to like play, you know, often enough to where like inspiration has the opportunity to come to me, like, because I don't think that, like, I'm not very seldom I'm like driving down the road and it's like, oh, here's the song. Like, it's like when I'm playing guitar and I'm like, okay, let me experiment with some of these things. And
hummed into my voice memo, like, I've got to get this out of my brain. It's too good.
I got a lot of voice memos, like, where it's like, okay, well, let me like revisit this.
I've never wrote a single one of them. I just want to state. Like, I've never gone back and been like, this, we're writing this.
But yeah, as far as like when I'm writing, I want to be as prepared as I can be for when a song starts to develop. And usually once a song, like if I write a song, it usually comes to me and it'll be like 30% there. And from that, if I feel like if I'm like, you know, putting in the work now, like the other 70% is like, okay, now I need to figure out how to get this, like this idea like fleshed out. And it's a bit easier. It kind of depends on the song. Like the first few songs that we wrote as Birds with Teeth, like I said, a lot of them were about gambling. And so like that was just kind of like on my mind of like, oh, I'm going to write some songs about this. And just 3 different songs like came from it, like 3 different feels, 3 different vibes. And like that was over the course of like maybe a month. But then with like the bluegrass songs, that's easier because there's like,
you ever find yourself railroading yourself doing that? Because like when I write a song, I get like, I got to get it all out in this one song. If this song's about XYZ, I can't have multiple songs about the same.
I think like, so when I say I wrote 3 songs about gambling, it's 3 songs that cover different moments over a span of like
I gotcha.
Maybe like 6 years of my life.
Yeah.
And so like it's more so just about like things that I learned over that time, but they all kind of like resemble choices that you make when you're like when you're gambling money you don't have.
Heyo. Like being in a band for 30 years and being poor at the same time. Gamble.
Yeah.
Oh man, but that orange cabinet looks so good on stage and sounds like butter.
Yes.
$3,000. I think I'll pay $3,000 for that. Thank you.
That's something that Steven told me is being a musician's the most expensive way to be poor.
That's right.
And that
we'd all be doing so much better if we
right?
just didn't do this.
Titans of industry.
Like, I mean, you know, at least like I wouldn't have to be like, you know, ooh, the electric bill. I shouldn't have bought those, you know, cymbal pack last month. I knew this was gonna happen.
Yeah, you get to the end of the month and it's like, where did this go? Oh yeah.
I did go to Guitar Center 3 times. I did go to Guitar Center 3 times. They should really have like blockers. Like I've thought about this 100 times where I give my phone to my wife and I'm like, passcode me out of some things and give me like only certain allowable instances. Like I have to, like I need someone to save me from myself.
I have to. It's like, will you unlock my phone for me so that I can look at instrument cables?
I want to go to just sounds. I'm not going to buy anything. Okay, please.
That the problem is that I just enjoy window shopping, like on my phone, of just like let me just build the cart.
You hop on Marketplace or something, and you're just like, oh my god. Or the worst is that new one, that it's like everything's everything's from like China. No, not Temu. I don't know. Okay. Temu's like weird, like house appliances.
Then it's Alibaba.
Yeah, you get into like the musician and lighting and stuff. Oh my god. Yeah. And the PAs, you're like, you can get a mini line array for only $5,000.
I was looking at like those
little
silent.
I don't have $5,000. What am I doing?
I was looking at the silent disco headphones. I was like, oh man, they got so many.
You can get the whole set. It's $3,000. It takes like what? And it'll be like 2 months to ship.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I doing? I gotta go pick it up on some dock in Oregon. It'll be worth it because I have this idea for this one show.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Actually, with your other band, that could be pretty dope.
Well, that's exactly why I was
how my
looking
mind starts working. I'm like, you know, you could justify it. That would be cool.
Well, that's the problem, is that like I start telling myself, it's like, I don't know if I can afford not to buy this.
Right.
And it's,
I want to go down in history forever to be the coolest show guy ever. Like, and I can only do that if I spend $2,000 on this show to make no money.
This is gonna pay for itself. No, that's something that.
When you're like, I could get 100 people in there.
Yeah. I can make 100 friends and then invite those 100 friends.
They'll surely all my friends will come and support me and pay $10. 12 people later, and a scratched head and some credit card debt.
Yeah,
You're
right.
like, oh man. We just got to do this 10 more times. And you start lying to yourself all over again.
Yeah. I just need to, like, because those 10 people, they'll be ready to do this again next week for sure. Yeah,
for
right?
sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know they're coming. They said they would, okay? Listen, Kurt. They said they'd show up. All right,
I got
they're gonna show
70
up.
maybes on here. Surely half of them will show up. Yeah, here we go.
Look, I know that the going is only 7, but the interested is 42. They're interested, right, Kurt? Nope. No. Interested means I see you. You're my friend. I'm not coming to that shit.
Yeah. I'm not going, but this interested click
But
is
here's
worth
some hope.
something.
Yeah.
Because some people will see this and be like, oh, well, maybe if it's their first show, they'll see that interest and be like, oh, okay, maybe some people are going to come to this.
I think it's like half minus 10%. There's like a number you can get for like that interested number of people that possibly will actually show up, and it's not that many.
I was going to say, it's not just 0?
No, it's not 0, but it is like way less than you would think as far as like, I think that interested button really does make people feel like it gives them an off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm off the hook.
Yeah.
I got the notification. I responded.
Didn't ignore it.
Because I feel some sort of obligation to, because you took time to send it to me, so I'm going to take time to, it's very weird. That's a very weird thing we do.
Yes.
It's like a shared mutual, like, I'm not coming to your thing because you're not coming to my thing, but we're both interested in each other's things.
We both want us to continue to do these things.
Yeah. Maybe if there's another thing there, I'll see your thing. I'm not a good friend.
When our things intersect.
Yeah.
When I invite you to come to the thing that you're already at.
And I'm talking
you
about myself
invite
here.
me.
I've seen so many people's acts, and I'm like, I need to come out and see you. And the only time it was because I was also going to be there already.
Yeah.
That's happened to me a bunch. I'm guilty too.
It's so, especially like this time of year is hard. It's so cold.
We are being pulled
it's so dark so
in
early.
every direction. You're at work, it's dark. You leave to go home, it's dark. It's just like you're stuck in this.
Your soul is dark.
Yeah, your soul gets darker every time this year. Everybody's dying.
I get, yeah. Wintertime's rough on me. Like
it's rough on everybody.
It's so hard.
Even the happiest of us are like, man, this is ridiculous.
It's so hard. Teaching middle schoolers, like you have to like put on like your teacher face and it's like, hey guys, today we're going to be learning about history and this is going to be great. And then like in between that 5 minutes in between classes,
you can't scream at little Samuel's ass ticking his pencil the whole time.
No, it's just like one of those things to where like part of me just wants to be like, all right guys, I'm going to teach you all of this, but I just don't have the energy to make it fun. But you'll still get the same information.
Right.
But you just got to do it with my sad face. Like you just got to put up with like me not smiling for a while, just because it wears me out too much. You got to do this 8 times today of just like, hey guys, you know what's awesome? Ancient Egypt, woohoo! And
do you have multiple classes, or is it? Yeah, surely, right? So what is it, like hour blocks?
Yeah. So I'll see my kids for about 90 minutes.
Hour and a half. Okay.
Yeah. So two 45-minute blocks, and then,
I guess you have like a period to yourself. Do they still do that?
Yeah.
Is that still a thing?
I get some breaks. It's not nonstop teaching, but feels like it at times.
I can imagine. Well, when you're not teaching, you're preparing for Kurt, wake up. You're preparing for the next thing.
Yeah.
Like lunch, you got to scoop down some microwaved pasta from the Dollar General.
Yeah. It's a lot of scrambling, which
Do you eat at the cafeteria? Do you bring food?
I started, so I used to. I was just eating way too much fast food, and now I'm just like trying to meal plan and just like, because I feel better, but mostly it's just like, oh yeah,
you're
gosh, I was spending like $80 a week on like fast
crazy.
food on food that made me miserable. But
Think about, add that up a month. That's a car payment.
Yeah, exactly.
In just terrible food.
Exactly. And it was just one of those things. I can't do this. I cannot.
That is a good motivator for me when I see like the price of things. I'm like, I could be having another car.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Like cigarettes. One of the biggest motivators to stop smoking was legit like, I could own another house with the amount of money I am spending on cigarettes. It is insane.
Yeah.
$5,000 a year. It's just like, no, don't do that. I could easily be renting like a whole shop to just do whatever I want in. It's weird. And you start quantifying it like that. You're like, well, that should probably stop.
It helps. Yeah. No, it makes it easier for sure.
It's bad habits, and money is the worst. Teaching children all day though. Migraine City. Do y'all get like headaches at the end of the day?
I have a
Are
good
sixth
group.
graders cool kids?
I have a good group this year.
I don't know anymore. I only know from when I was 12.
I think that the like when people look at sixth graders right now, they'll see deficiencies that they have compared to when we were kids in school, like because we can just do different things, and like my sixth graders now can do stuff that just didn't exist when I was in sixth grade.
Well, that's
like just
babies,
technologically,
you can hand
like,
a baby a phone and they know how to use it. That's
Yeah.
just crazy weird.
for sure, and just like the stuff. Like I remember my sixth grade teacher being like, "You should not ever use a calculator because if you use a calculator, like you're not gonna figure out how to do it by hand, and like it's gonna
That
baby
meme.
you too much."
That meme, you can't just have a calculator in your pocket at all times. And
Yeah.
now it's like, I have the world in my pocket at all times, which is also terrible.
For sure, but like now, like my students, like the stuff, like they're using their calculator, but they're doing it to do stuff that's pretty cool. Like they're using like graphing calculators and doing all this cool stuff, which I don't mess with that. I teach history. I teach a couple of music classes, but with my history classes,
They're like, this isn't fun. It's old stuff.
that's what I like about my this current group of sixth graders I got is that they seem pretty into it. They're
Yeah.
restoring my hope in humanity a little bit.
It's hard to be, especially when like, oh, next period I get to solder motherboards or whatever the hell kids are doing now. Like, I have no idea. Oh, I get to code. Coding's probably huge, I would assume, and they're teaching that. Got to be getting younger.
Yeah, they start coding early elementary school.
Got to be.
Just
It's like
like
cursive. It's
making
just
little
like,
games. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and you can do it in an app, and I'm sure they're all like AI this and blah 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 that, and you're just like, what is happening?
I love AI.
Oh my God, do you?
I use it. I use it a lot to.
Our lords are coming. We
Yeah,
created our own god.
I'm getting ready for when AI takes over. I can show that I was an early adopter of like, hey, look, I was ready to submit to you on day one.
I never did mean prompts. I never screamed at Siri. Siri, tell him. Siri.
Oh no, yeah, actually,
I
that's
never
gonna
screamed
be it.
at her.
My Google Home pod is gonna snitch on me.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
Oh.
you think he likes AI?
Play it's
the
all
tape.
story. Yeah. Oh, remember when you got sassy because I forgot to put pickles in the grocery list?
Remember when I wouldn't recognize your voice and you cursed at me for an hour? Yeah. I'm a dead man.
Yeah. The vacuum cleaner's gonna kill you. Like something bad. It's all gonna be terrible.
Yeah, I forget just how many of my appliances I'm cruel to now. Yeah, my vacuum cleaner
All of it.
is gonna get me strung up.
I'm just gonna. I'm getting old. I'm getting curmudgeony. I had a thought yesterday, like I should buy a car that's carbureted, so when everything goes to shit, I can still get around. That's the thought I had in my brain. Yep. Well, when the power grid goes down, I'll still be able to drive.
You have the back of it filled up with food rations and.
I do have food that lasts a while that is tucked away for sure, but that's just old school. I mean, my grandparents grew all their own food, so like having rations stored for disasters was just kind of like a common thing
For sure.
when I was a kid. Everyone had disaster rations. I think that just stuck with me. You just get food that doesn't go bad for a while. Like this stuff right here is good till 2025. Just canned water. Just put a box in the back of the pantry.
Yeah.
It's not, if something goes wrong, you'll be all right for a little bit.
You will be the bougiest survivor if you pull out the case of like canned water where it's like, look, it's end of days. And it's like, well, let's crack open one of these liquid deaths.
One of these delicious liquid deaths. Oh, look. That guy's head just blew up. The drone must have got him. No rice here. We're eating, those bucket meals. Actually, some of that stuff's pretty good.
Yeah.
Some of that, the chili macaroni, the MRE chili macaroni is so good. It's salty as hell.
I love chili mac.
Who doesn't? Kurt, what do you think about chili mac on a scale of 1 to 10? Go.
Hamburger helper.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. It's a solid 8.2. Love chili mac.
Beans or no beans?
Indifferent. I like beans.
I like beans.
They make me way gassy now.
Awful.
Milk too. I old aged into lactose intolerance.
I tried to drink a glass of milk one day and just could
shit
not,
everywhere.
Could
stuff.
not stand up straight. Like I was just keeled over. And it's like, oh no, what's going on?
Every time I can't have my favorite cookie in the world now because of it.
Can't dunk it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I listen. Every now and then when it's like date movie night, I'm gonna do it because that's like my whole thing.
Yeah.
I want to sit here and watch this dope movie with my wife and eat these delicious milk-filled cookies. And I know
do that, but like drinking a glass of milk is just
I don't
out
even.
of the question.
It's so instant now. I don't even make it to the.
Filled cookies?
Yeah, because you fill them with milk.
Saturate them.
You saturate the
milk.
cookies. You know, and you let the bubbles got to stop. I ain't pulling it out till the bubble stops, sir.
I make sure it's
We're
dead.
getting every last orifice in this cookie filled with the delicious milk.
Like a serial killer.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
But it's like I'm bad. So blue box or shells and cheese? What are we doing?
Ooh, shells and cheese are hard to go wrong with that.
It
It's
is.
always shells of cheese.
Kurt's shells and cheese. I actually like blue box, man. I make a pretty mean. You should have mine. It's either that or from scratch. A lot of times.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like, because there's no wrong way. Like,
There's no wrong
somebody's
way.
like, hey, look, here's some
Shells
store
and
brand
cheese is-
instant mac and cheese. I'm like, let's do it.
Mac and cheese and pizza are kind of the same. Where it's like bad mac and cheese, still pretty fucking good.
Got a pretty high floor. Yeah.
You know,
I
like
agree.
even the microwaved mac and cheese, like those cups that are just like, this shouldn't be edible, and it's probably honestly not. Still tastes pretty decent.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, and I like the full circle. We're back around to cheese.
It's always coming back to cheese.
Yeah, and there's a time and a place for every cheese, and that little
I
box
think
of the mac and cheese, the little cup. Yeah.
Yes, I
there's-
think I jinxed it by starting this whole. I met you and immediately was like, "You want to know how fat I am? I'm making a cheese sandwich. I'm pioneering a sandwich."
making a cheese sandwich, but not how you think.
Just breathing weird.
Start with the cheese stick. It's the whole thing.
Oh, you just met this person. What do you want to tell them? Check this out. It's like that. You guys want to see a dead body? Yeah, of course I want to see a dead body. You ever seen a dead body?
No.
No?
I mean, like, not.
Not from like natural cause, like a funeral home body.
Yeah, like never like outside. Of
Like
the funeral
happened
home.
upon a guy that got stabbed and he is now dead. No. Happened upon a couple of stabbed people, but not dead ones. They were just stabbed. Stabbed up pretty good.
Ooh.
Yeah, it happens. You know, sometimes you get stabbed.
No, yeah. That's,
Kurt's got video of
that's
the
a thing.
time I almost got stabbed. I've been almost everything.
Video like here? Is
I've been
like,
almost
it was one
shot.
of the
Oh, it's on his
episodes I
phone.
missed or something?
No. Could you imagine? Someone gets mad, like I get in an altercation. What the
Shells
hell?
and cheese? I think not, sir.
Pulls out a butterfly knife and wicks it across the table. John wicks it. Wah.
You pull a knife in here, you're never leaving.
It's gonna be. I mean, there's gonna be blood on the walls. We're gonna go crazy. I'm a psychopath. I don't like when people pull weapons on me, man. It just makes me crazy. Something about it, just like, oh, we're dying today.
See, people think it's just fight or flight. But
There's a
third
primal
option.
There's a
where it
primal
goes-
rage in there that's just like it just comes out of me. I'm like, oh, this is what we're doing. You better put it through my fucking eye socket because I'm gonna eat your nose off your face. People are like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, look, man, I didn't put it in me. It's just in there. That is some like.
I didn't put it in me, it's just in there. Larry Fisher quoted that.
That's the title of my next book. I didn't put it in me. It's just in there. At least that's what I'm telling the. What's the proctologist? Is it proctologist? What's the
Proctologist.
butt doctor?
Yeah.
I didn't put it in me. It's just in there.
So what are we gonna do?
The prostate exam. Actually, I'm supposed to do that now. I don't want to do it.
It's the thing about getting old.
I think they moved it to 35. I think you're next. I think you're almost up on the list there,
So
buddy.
happy birthday to me.
Uh-huh.
I get.
You imagine you
got that
schedule
to
it
look
for
forward.
your 35th birthday. You're like, I just want to get this out of the way, man.
I expect a lollipop at the end. Of this.
Like, what'd you do today? I had a bunch of air shoved in my butt and then a finger. The fart. I want it just for the fart.
What?
The big fart. They won't let you leave until you pass all that air out of your body.
Oh, okay.
'Cause they shove a bunch
have
of air in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've. Yeah. This is just. It's just one. Like, can they
It's
just
just
like?
one cheese block.
Can they give me like just a little Heimlich maneuver and just like if I got somewhere to be, can they just be like, all
It's
right,
just
well, come
wild.
here.
It's just wild that you think like we have all this advancement in so many areas, and the way we're checking for prostate cancer is an old man has got to finger your butt. That's still what we're doing. It is 2023. We have supercomputers in our pockets. And the only way to know if my prostate's going to kill me is if some old guy fingers me. That is fucking crazy.
So
Why is that what we're doing?
I like it better when we're talking about cheese.
Hey,
yeah,
Kurt.
so the music side.
Actually, so how many bands are you in, actually?
Just the two projects.
Just two?
I am, which I mean, like I feel like everybody in Little Rock is in like 5 projects.
You gotta
so
be.
I feel like being in 2
Well,
projects
there's only
is, like,
17 of us. We got to be in multiple bands. No, there's actually becoming a lot. There's so many bands right now. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
And so many different genres. Like the genre spread out, like the amount of genres there are, might be the most ever of just things you can go see from all of it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Did the DJs, the hip hop, the country artists, and there's so many of each one. It's not like you're relegated to being like, well, I'm kind of just doing this on my own because there's not like a market for it. There's a market for all of it.
It's a great time.
Like, aren't you and Steven doing your thing in like coffee shops?
Yeah,
Y'all's
that's
little
what's nice.
Side project thing.
Yeah, it's because we can just, it's a relatively small footprint, so we can just set up anywhere. And
That's sick.
like coffee shop it just makes a lot of sense because a lot of our stuff right now is just like very chill and stuff, which I mean, like with it being loop, it can get rowdier. And so we're, exploring that field and like dipping our toe in the water as far as like, all right, well, what if we tried to be like make this more like a rave type stuff? But right now, like all of our shows have just been like,
You imagine you
chill.
somehow turn a coffee shop. Everyone's in there just chilling, like, oh, this is lovely. And by the end of it, they're all just,
Yeah.
someone's over there working the light switch.
Just a dimmer.
Gerald, grab the lights. That's actually, that'd be a funny skit, actually.
I would like that.
That'd be a good way to promote, like, y'all's next, like, a show that y'all are doing, some sort of bigger thing.
I would like to just have like just a camera set up and then us just like hit like this nasty like techno beat, like just in the middle of just
People
like,
look up from their, their giant
Yeah.
coffee mugs. What is happening? Like a McDonald's commercial, but with a rave at the end. It's pretty good, actually.
I'm into it.
I don't hate that idea. And also, coffee shops are like Steven's second favorite place to be.
He fits right in. He definitely has that vibe.
Oh, if there was ever a person that's like, oh, clearly you're at a coffee shop
My
every single day.
sweater.
I'm talking about my teapots. I love him so much. He's such a good person.
He's great. Like it's just been fantastic playing music.
How'd y'all
with him.
meet?
So when I started Birds with Teeth, my bass player and Steven were both at Renown. And they had started a video game music band called the Emulators.
That's right.
And Max was like, oh, also, we're looking for a keyboard player in this band that, doesn't... Because Steven was already in, like, so many bands at
He's
this point.
in every band.
Yeah, and so he was like, and we don't really rehearse like too much because the songs are structured like in a way that makes enough sense to where, like, if we need to hit like a sting or like just any little cutie things, like
Right.
we can get that done in like a single rehearsal, and like the time commitment is a little bit less. And so Steven's like, yeah, I think I can do that. And then once we started that project, I told Steven, I was like, okay, well, this one really rehearses even less than that one.
Oh, you don't say.
I think it was the promise of this project will try to be like something that makes money as opposed to like, because every music project I've been has gone the opposite way of like, no, this is not something that I'm going to get rich doing, but it's a labor of love, and
It's not even like a what do they call that? Like a passive income? No, it's just like, oh, are you prepared to lose money?
It is a very active income drain.
It's like, can we get it where we get to keep some of it? Oh, no. maybe in 20 years, maybe.
The money that you made from this show will cover a little bit of the losses that you had leading up to the show, and be happy about that. It's like, oh, yeah, that's great.
my entire, like, I'm never going to stop playing music. You know, the capacity dwindles because of just age and things like that.
Sure.
Like, I don't think I'll be 60 and just doing post-hardcore hanging from the ceiling. I don't know that it's possible. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Can still do it. It's very fun, but, you know, not getting any younger.
How old are you?
I'll be 40 in 5 months.
Oh, congratulations.
Right there, right at the cusp. I don't know what to do. I don't want it. And
we
it's
just
coming.
we just keep on keeping on. Like, when we're 60, I definitely think, like, when we're 60, just get the friends together and say, hey, look, can we just throw together a show on this date? And everybody's going to be like, yeah.
We're just doing like one a year at this point.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to do country. I think that's where I'm landing on. But like older school, kind of where you're at with like your...
Yeah, well,
you know, like,
just like lyrically driven country.
Yeah.
Like, needs
just
to tell
like
a story.
simple, 4 on the floor, tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
Not singing, maybe. Probably playing drums, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Just nice, easy going. Something I can relax to. And it makes money.
That's true.
Let's not forget the most
That's
important
true.
part about country music.
Is that is where the money is.
If you can't rap, you
Yeah.
better get in a country act. Because those two genres are the only two that are paying out money. Not, sorry, no one came. Here's $- You actually owe us money. We got to pay the
your
sound
cut
guy.
of the door is you owe us $30.
That's right. Remember that door deal we had? Turns out didn't work. And not in your favor either. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I've played some doozies. The lowest show I ever played was 1. Never played in front of 0.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Is that one? What do the other bands on the ticket count?
They didn't show up.
They didn't show up, and it's just one.
One person paid. Oh. The only other person that was in the room was the person that ran the venue. So just one person was there, and they were at the door.
Yeah.
So I don't count that. Like they're there by default.
They pay you out. They pay
No,
the split of that one
no,
$5
no.
cover.
Sure didn't. And it was kind of cool, actually. That person ended up being, you never know who you're playing in front of, ended up being a magazine, wrote an article about it.
Oh.
And we ended up being friends for a while, too. So it was actually really cool. It's like, what are the odds?
That's dope.
The one person that came in the room.
Yeah.
And we just played, we were just like, we'll just use it as like a cool band practice.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, rehearsal. You are fancy.
Oh.
Rehearsal.
Rehearsal,
Yes. We're going to rehearsal soon. Yes, I have rehearsal later today, as a matter of fact. I always thought rehearsal is what you say when you make money doing it.
Oh, no.
Like when you're rich, that's rehearsal.
I certainly have not adopted that because I don't know. I feel like when I was in college, I was in like the band and choir and stuff. And so like we had to practice on our own. And then when we got together, like the mandatory thing, we called that rehearsal.
That's rehearsal.
And so that was
interesting.
That was when I started like using that
So
language.
is practice a singular thing and rehearsal is a group thing?
No, that's just like in my mind. That's how
I've never
went.
understood the difference.
Well, when I would show up, my band director would yell at people that didn't practice. And I would and if somebody were to raise their hand and be like, but this is practice, he would murder them probably.
Oh, okay.
And so like, that's when I guess we just needed to like, okay, cause this is rehearsal and like,
I get that.
Other thing.
I've had to start playing guitar at home because I got so lazy. I was only playing my instruments at practice.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't get worse, I don't think, but you just stay the same for so long, and finally it catches up to your brain and you go, I should really be putting in some effort here.
Yeah, this thing that was hard 2 weeks ago, in theory, should be easy now, but it's still hard.
It's
Why
still
is
kind
that?
of
It's
hard. Like, why am I still flubbing this note?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I want to write cooler stuff now. I have it in my mind that I want to not necessarily do like, I'm not trying to do solos, but there's this cool thing happening where like movement on the like the top 3 strings and like the mid section of the guitar,
Yeah.
especially like the southern riff aspect. I want to get better at
drop
that.
D 7/5.
Yes. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That driving, just like sit back and go, oh, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Oh, no. That's definitely, there's a lot of gold in them there hills.
That boy's Pabst Blue riffing. Give it to me. I want it all. That's all I want to do. I just want to write Southern riffs till the day I die.
It's fun.
It's the most fun music.
Drop D, Southern.
It's so good.
And it's, oh man, like it sounds good on an acoustic, just like a really old beat up acoustic guitar. And it sounds great.
Crazy
like,
you say that. I have an idea right now I'm working on where I do something like that with an acoustic that I'm just like, we can pull this off. But I want to like dirty it up even more and maybe run it through some pedals.
Oh yeah.
And have I want to do a whole thing.
There's this Hot Springs band, Turtle Rush, and they
Hell yeah. Turtle Rush.
Yeah, and like they're just madmen. Like they get like it's all acoustic instruments, except for the bass, but like through pedals and just like the feedback, because like you just have like 3 overdrive pedals, like just trying to blow up an acoustic guitar, and it's just nasty, like the best kind of nasty sounds. And like the banjo and mandolins, like just with like psychedelic sensibilities.
What?
So much fun. Really enjoy it.
What is this called? Turtle what?
Turtle Rush.
Turtle Rush.
Yeah. Check them out.
I think I'm
great.
going to have to. It sounds insane. They're playing the feedback. Like they're using it to their advantage. I love that.
Yeah, because it's very jammy, and it's just like one of those things to where it's like, I want this to sound like an acoustic guitar that is on the brink of exploding at all times.
I love that.
And it's great. Yeah,
I love in Lame Johnny playing close to my amp because it allows for, when a note rings out and it starts getting that feedback, and you can kind of play that. Kind of playing the feedback is always just so much fun. You
just
bend
on a string. Yeah.
where it's like, and you can kind of get that to go, just, and then you quiet it up. Oh, when it's dead on in the moment.
What's your rig like?
So it's different for every band because I firmly believe in like each thing, because I'm in 4 bands because I want to play 4 different types of music. I'm not in 4 of the same style of bands.
Yeah.
It's like in Crows, I have a drum kit. It's kind of hodgepodge, but it's definitely like what it should be. I just if I had the money, I would. But it's like a 24-inch kick, which that's my kick size. Okay. That's never inch. It's by 16. Punchy and boomy. Boom, boom, boom. And then 14 by 16 floor tom on the rack.
Okay.
And 16 by 16 floor tom. And then 22-inch crash ride, 15-inch hi-hats. Boom. Big, loud, explosive. But the hi-hats are tight and poppy. You can really get that. Because it's kind of like 68-ish. Like the guitar player runs through a bass rig as well.
Okay, yeah.
So everything's like, they got that harmonicized noting, It's like Paramore-esque. And then the guitar rig for Lame Johnny is... the HH Telly. It's like a one-time they made it, and it's neck through. I love that guitar to death. It's my favorite guitar I own. And actually, we use that in Crows as well, but for Lame Johnny. And then that runs into Orange Crush 120 into an Egnator, which it was like the high end. I'm still pretty positive I bought the very last one because he quit making stuff.
Yeah.
And when I bought it from Sweetwater, I was like, oh, I'm going to get this. It was the floor model. It was a $1,300 cabinet. I got it for $300. And when I bought it and refreshed, it went away. And then you could not buy. There was nothing else on there. I was like, did I just buy the last Egnator cabinet from Sweetwater, like completely? Got it shipped to me, and I've used it ever since. But it's got the vintage 30s in it, which of course, like it's just like the sound. The tone is ridiculous. I love the tone. And then I run it into an OCD and then a host of other like effects pedals.
Sure.
Some handmade, some like I have an adaptive tremolo pedal is one of my favorite things. I don't have it in a song yet. We were writing one, then we kind of stepped away from like the Western.
An adaptive trim? Does that mean like you
speed and intensity?
Based
it
on
picks
like
up
the velocity
on
of like your hit?
Yes.
Aww.
It is one of the coolest pedals ever. Like if I'm babying it, it's like it steps itself down. If I go slow, it's slower. And if I dig in and I want to like throw, like, you pull off on there, it's and it does it in real time. You would think that I'm sitting there having to use my foot.
Sure.
No, just the pedal. It's the most baller shit in the world.
I gotta see that. That sounds.
I love it to death.
dope.
If we ever play a show together or something, like definitely come over and I will show you at work. I'll even hand you the guitar. It's so sick.
Yes, please.
It's so sick. I don't even remember what it's called. I just know that it's red and kind of looks like a flannel shirt. But it's got hella knobs, switches, so it's not only adaptive, but all the different
Also tweakable.
waves, like the wavelengths you can change, square, point, like what is it, echo, like all that stuff you can change it. The amounts, of course, and then there's like a volume.
Yeah.
Like the amount you put into the signal and then the volume knob, of course. And then a high pass, low pass. It's sick. I love it to death. I'm getting real nerdy.
Yeah.
But and then I have a sampler on there too. Because we don't play to no clicks or nothing.
Yeah.
We're bad boys, real rebels of industry, And so everything is just, we have a song that has like samples mid-song, but it's pretty cool. It's Digitech. It's old as hell. They don't even make it anymore. But it's got an up-down selector, and you can hit start, and it just stops on its own.
And it's a stomp?
Yeah, and you can use it with your feet. See, they have the little one, the Jam Man. This is the big brother to that. And you can use your feet. So anyone on stage can come
just,
over
like,
and activate
knock it,
something
yeah.
if they have to. It's great. I suggest every band get one. They're like $200, I think.
That's gear, like nice gear is like going through the roof, but like a lot of like
It really is.
But you can get some pretty good copies now. Like
Dude, there are guys making pedals that are they're like, oh, you want this like $1,000 effects pedal? It's like $30 worth of stuff, which that kind of aggravates me too when you learn that it's like almost nothing in there.
Yeah, so I was watching the JHS pedal guy's videos, and he was just like, let's take a look at these Behringer pedals, and he's like, these circuits are identical. Like these, your little tube screamer and this $20 tube screamer are sonically identical. I was like, wait, what? Like, 'cause that was like a few years ago, and I was just like, well, how about that? Well, I'm going to start buying up a bunch of cheap Chinese stuff because...
Dude, there was that Behringer fuzz pedal that went like, you cannot buy it. People were like, oh, it's basically the best fuzz we've ever heard, and it's $29. And people just bought it up. Same things happens in, I don't know how much you pay attention to drumming. It happens in cymbals too.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes a brand will put out something in like a, those beginner cymbal box sets you can buy.
Those Wuhans? Is it like...
And stuff like that happens where they'll accidentally put out something that's so good. And once the music community figures it out, they're like, well, we're buying it all. And we're not going to stop
cheap gear
until y'all quit selling it. Like there was for a while, Walmart was selling an MB20 mix, which is that's the alloy. All of the best cymbals, all the best companies, the MB20, like that's the mix.
Okay.
And they were selling one, a 20-inch crash for like $30.
Oh.
And it sounds as good as anything that's $400. So they sold out. Once people found out you couldn't get them anymore, and then they, just like all the industry, they just quit selling it. Why? Because I'm sure the big companies reached out and went, hey, don't do that.
Right.
And they went, okay.
I remember Joyo pedals being like $20, and now they're $40, which is fine. Like it is what it is. But
40's still fair.
I'm always just looking for, it's like, okay, well, what's the cheapest thing? Like right now, my rig is it's the Vailton, like it's their Line 6 Pod Go clone, and it's fun. Like,
so you're playing everything through like a board?
Yeah, it's just all on a board. Like I just have like different presets built in and it's nice. Like I get to pick like the amp and the cab and stuff, and it's not a real amp. Like like I don't like you were
You're
talking about
modeling
like
everything.
getting like that certain feedback where it's like your amp is a living, breathing thing.
Oh, I'm analog till I die.
It's not that, but I put it in my backpack.
That's
and
true.
Then,
That's
and
true.
then I walk to my show with my backpack on instead of like
Yeah,
pushing
you don't
in
need a
half stack.
$5,000 trailer and a
Yeah.
fucking, a good spinal cord. These things,
Yeah, I just, it's just a...
Doesn't take a group of
Compromise.
full-grown men to set up the rig.
Yeah.
These strong, broody dudes like hauling around full stacks.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Like, I get it. But I'm like, yeah, but it's so cool.
No, I get it. No, that's the other part. The other side of it is I also get it. Like, there's just any time that somebody's like, hey, I got a tube amp over here. You wanna play around?
But the idea that you can walk around with a pedal board and a laptop and a backpack and have everything is also, that's wild.
It's pretty fun.
That's wild.
Like, me and Steven are trying to keep things as analog as a loop project can be, I suppose.
Sure.
Like, to where it's like, well, we want to, like, because we were messing around with, like, okay, well, what if we had, like, tracks, like, on certain things, especially for, like, this rowdier stuff. And then we started listening to it, and I was like, no, it sounds like too much, like, just, it sounds too canned.
Too canned, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was
too
just
perfect.
like, no, let's just have, like, this big, like, and then, like, you just, with all of your synthesizers, go crazy.
You're doing it for real.
Yeah,
with
it's fun.
real, like the pedal. Like, oh, I want to do this thing, but I need this one thing. So instead of inboxing it, which is so easy.
Yeah.
It's all free. You don't have
Yeah.
to pay for nothing.
Yeah.
If there's a paid version, there's a free version. Welcome to the internet.
Yeah.
It's like, but something about those circuits, there is something to that. This is like the woo-woo part of music. Like, there's something to touching the thing and your brain, like even turning the knob or touching the guitar string actually, and the electricity and all the things come together and make this, can't describe it. It's just, in my mind, it's just better than.
Yeah. It's the same thing with, like, sitting down with, like, a good vinyl. It's just, like, it really feels like it's breathing with you.
So, I really believe that. I really do. Call me fucking a hippie. There is something magical that vinyl was able to capture that since then we don't have it. Like,
and you could completely tell me that, like, you could tell me I'm wrong about that, and
Sure.
like, and it could be that I am wrong, but it means more to me when I'm listening to it, and therefore is real. Like, there's something, like, when I sit down with a vinyl and listening to something, like, just make an evening of just listening to good music with a vinyl or on vinyl. It's different. It hits different for me,
Does me
the
too.
listener.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm sure, like, I would be scared if somebody's like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna blindfold you and I'm gonna, like, do, like, all of these things. Like, I don't know about that, but knowing that I'm listening to vinyl and knowing that, like, every time you hear just, like, a little bit of just the smallest hint of a wobble on that needle, it's just, oh man, it just fills
It's
me
like
up.
a
It's
real
so
time
good.
difference.
Yeah.
You're not getting the same playthrough every time.
Exactly.
It's not, it's not perfect. I
It's
think there's
alive.
beauty in the imperfectness of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's what CDs took away from vinyls. This will play the same every single time, regardless, until it gets scratched.
Yeah.
Which same with a vinyl. You drop it or
Oh,
break it.
yeah,
Or,
for sure.
or it sits next to the heater. You left it in the car. Well, now you're screwed.
Yeah. You start getting some.
Well, and then the delivery people and vinyls, they have not caught on. I've seen so many like horror where someone will like fold it up and like stick it in the mailbox. You're like, oh my God.
Happens every day.
I've never. So I will. And since I moved my vinyl collection, I have to start it over. But I'll only buy vinyls from thrift shops, or like if I was at like a show and somebody has like their
Yeah,
vinyl,
yeah.
like obviously like got to get that. But I just like hunting for vinyls. Like it's like the whole. Exactly,
Yeah, it is kind of that. Yeah.
Like I don't want to spend $50 on a vinyl. I want to find a $50 vinyl for $5.
If it's like a brand new album from a band that's putting on a new record, okay.
Yeah.
I get it. It's expensive to do. I'll pay the $50.
Yeah.
But there is something to go into thrift stores and just being like, what little gem am I gonna find that they didn't see? Am I gonna get lucky? It's only happened to me once, and it was the soundtrack to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ooh.
Are you feeling lucky?
Dope.
I was at a horror convention of all places, just like mindlessly sifting through vinyls. I just bought a sugar skull of Wilford Brimley on a shirt. and it says "Eat shit and diabetes." It's still to this day one of my all-time favorite shirts. It makes no sense, but it's so hilarious. And I'm sitting there, I've got the shirt on, and I'm just like flicking through this thing, and I hear this thing, and I see, what is that? And I pull it up, and I'm like, ooh, and it's in the $5 bin or something like that, or $10 bin. It was in the cheap section.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's mine. And I pulled it up, and the guy goes, and I was like, oh, he knew. I was like,
Look at this gem.
He goes, man, that's lucky. I was like, yes, it is. I immediately went back to the hotel room and like made sure it was safe. And then came back down to the convention floor. I was like, there's no way, dude. And I have it still to this day, and I'm very...
And see, like, that feels so much better than, like, had you just, like, bought it. And it's more so than just the money. Like, you know, it's like, oh, yeah, I saved, like, however much money.
Oh, yeah, that
finding it
doesn't
cheap.
matter, really.
It's really
That's
just,
cool
like,
part of the story.
I
But
won this record,
Yes.
like, through my determination of finding a cool record.
Yeah. It adds... Yeah.
I've never felt that, like,
I've never won that from
never,
Apple Music or
exactly,
Spotify.
Never
Yeah.
sought out a track on Spotify and felt like I won.
No. Maybe, just maybe, something came through a playlist and you're like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like it's like, so that's why I never use Spotify.
I guess the modern version would be Shazamming something you hear in the background. You're like, I don't even know if it'll pick it up. Oh, man, please tell me it will.
Yeah.
You know, you pull down, you click the button real fast, like, please don't be over.
It's okay. It was just a Black Sabbath song you forgot existed.
Oh, that's true.
Always.
You listen to vintage rock?
So, I mean, like, I feel like...
It's kind of where I'm going these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been going backwards.
I was real deep into, which I don't know how... Is Kiss, or not Kiss, I'm sorry, is Queen considered classic rock?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was real into,
I think
like...
the 90s technically is considered classic rock now.
Okay.
So we can go way... There's a gambit now.
Yeah. Well, Queen is probably the first band that I was, like, pretty nerdy about. Like, me and my friends would...
I mean, what's not to be nerdy about?
I know.
It's Queen.
It's their music. Like, it would be... It's funny because I was just having this conversation with my girlfriend. Is like, what's your favorite part of Bohemian Rhapsody? Because when I was like in band and stuff, it was like, oh man, it's got to be like the 4-part harmonies at the beginning. It was like, oh.
Is it an argument? Like, they wrote the best rock song of all time. Like, we all agree on that, right?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Like, it is like the #1 song ever.
The thought that I had, it came on at a restaurant and everybody was singing along with it. Like, it's just so hard to resist.
It's part of everything. It's baked in you. You're born with that song inside of you. Like,
I don't know how deep of a cut this is. They have this song, it's like 8 minutes long. It's called Prophet's Song. And they have this really long a cappella segment of this where it's just like, it's like a canon. It's just like them singing in round. And me and my friends, and it was so nerdy. Like, I would love to just bust into the room and say, I'm going to beat all of you up. This is awful. Stop doing this and thinking it's cool. But we would just be like, all right, you guys ready? And we would just start singing like the round of just like this Queen song, and it's like, yeah, this is so good. But
I love that.
Queen just like there was just so much to like.
So much. They were doing things still to this day. It's like they just were their own thing. There's no copycat on it for a reason. You know, there's no other Queen.
Yeah.
I mean, their guitar player's like a fucking rocket scientist that has his own distortion pedal that he's like, I'll give you the schematics when I die. And people are like, we want it now. And he's like, no. And they still can't figure it out.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You know, he made his own tone. Like, everything about them is just so what you want.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, you gotta, I don't know. It's one of those just magical bands where you're just like, oh, they did something that was, I don't know. Their antennas were tuned into something different.
Yeah.
Almost alien, really. Because one, they wrote maybe the best song ever, but so many of their songs are hits. Like, they have the best %1 hit album? You know how, like, classic bands were like, this #1 hit, and they have like 12 songs that were all #1 hits?
Yeah.
I guarantee you I can sing every one of theirs.
Yeah.
You know, what is it, like that purple... You remember it. It's like
a
gold leaf front. It's Queen with the logo.
And it's got, like, is We Are the Champions on that
one?
Oh, yeah.
It's
it's got all the bangers.
It's all like the bangers,
Rhapsody,
Fat Bottom Girls.
Fat Bottom Girls. Bicycle.
Bicycle, and why is that song good? I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's
a
fucking
banger.
great.
It's great. You know, like I don't understand it. Like it's just a really good song about bicycles.
And he just wants to ride his bike, man. That's it.
Oh, where did we go?
Kurt?
Monitor fell asleep.
The monitor fell asleep.
Still alive.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're at 2 hours, by the way.
Cool. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap
Isn't
it
it
up.
wild how time just flies by in this room?
Yeah, I can't.
It's a vortex. This is actually all fake. I drugged you. You've been asleep.
You're still at home.
You're still at home. None of this is real. You're going to feel crazy for a couple days. Now, you probably got to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. Liquid. Oh, no. All right. Plug it.
All right. Well, Birds with Teeth. Y'all check us out on Spotify. Hit us up on social media, on Instagram. All kinds of up. Playing this Thursday.
Oh, cool.
Does this come?
This comes out Tuesday.
Okay, yeah. Playing this Thursday at Revival in Benton at 7:30.
What's that?
It's a beer garden in Benton.
In Benton?
In Benton, yeah. It's dope.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah,
That's
for
crazy.
sure. And we're looking forward to that one. That one's going to be a lot of fun. And then we got a show January 6th at Vino's with Birds with Teeth. Love to see everybody come out to that. It's going to be an awesome
I can honestly say I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be there.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
It is going to be. Who else is playing that show? Do you know?
I think that I don't know. I'm not even sure if I was supposed. Like Steven said, like he sent me the poster and he's like, but don't say anything until the venue goes live with it. But that should be.
I think
after
they did that
Tuesday.
already.
Yeah,
I saw
okay.
a flyer for it. Yeah, I already saw a flyer for it.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Passed it.
Okay, just making sure.
2 thumbs down.
Two-
Stressor, Birds with Teeth. And
Ooh.
Beef.
Oh, wow. 2 thumbs down, Stressor, Birds with Teeth, and who?
And beef.
Beef? Love it.
Yeah.
That's a show.
Yeah.
Hey, we're Beef.
That's the beef.
What a band name.
It's gonna be great.
That's going to be a hell of a show. Stressor rules.
Yeah.
Have you seen Stressor?
Not live, no.
It's fantastic.
I'm looking forward to it.
So good. Ty. I love you, Ty. Oh, anyway, what else?
I mean, that's it at the moment. We got a few things lining up. Like me and Steven stay pretty busy with all kinds of but
Yeah.
like those, just hit us up on social media to keep up with those, because I can't keep up with them either.
Are y'all on all the social media or just?
We're on Facebook. Birds with Teeth is on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. I don't think we're on X or Twitter or
Whatever.
yeah.
Zango.
Zanga.
Yeah.
Check out our
Friendster,
Farmers Only.
Farmers Only. LinkedIn. We're LinkedIn. Link up with us. We're a band. Link it. If anybody out there's hiring.
If anybody needs like a night janitor staff, hit us up on LinkedIn. We are very, very willing, and
we have all our own uniforms. I own 2 vacuum cleaners.
We're all gonna bring our robot vacuums.
There you can just room us.
We're gonna make this passive income, baby. Here we go.
You're just like, yeah, we'll clean everything. You just bring robots. That's fantastic. All right. Crashcast Pod. Twitter's Crashcast Pod 1. It's just what they had available. I hate that it's that. We got to change it. We should change it. I wonder if Crashcast Podcast is taken.
Crashcast Podcast.
Well, in the beginning, I was silly and didn't put podcast at the end of it. And then Kurt was like, yeah, but if someone sees it, they don't know what that is. They just see Crashcast. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. Because the idea is to pull in strangers. All your friends, of course, are going to listen.
Sure.
But this has been great, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
It's been a very fun time.
Blast.
I love this. This is very fun. And thank you for listening. Peace.